American Executive Board recommended to the convention in 1986 of setting up SOAR to provide a vehicle to do something about all the kinds of problems that you have as retirees.
It's an organization that we hope will keep them active, keep them up to date with what's happening in the country, and motivate them in participating in elections, legislative activity, and in support of the efforts of the labor movement.
In 25 years, the Steelworkers Organization of Active Retirees, SOAR, has developed into one of the most effective and reliable forces within the union. Day or night, weekday or weekend, SOAR is on the job.
These people work. I mean, men and women who have come up through the ranks, and it's not unusual during an election process to see SOAR volunteers working phone banks, working stuffing envelopes, some of them working knocking on doors. And in Canada, because it's a parliamentary system, many of our SOAR activists are active in what's called the riding associations, in the constituency association. And they help work for the Labour Party, which is the new Democratic Party in Canada. So a lot of them are the foundation in that regard.
SOAR is the bedrock of the union.
Best years of my life were down at the Steelworkers building helping in build SOAR.
SOAR has done some things that our active members, because of them being active and having to work in plants and factories and shops that we're not able to do, SOAR picked up that slack. SOAR was there, and when we needed them in Washington, SOAR was there. When we needed them on picket lines.
No contract, no peace.
For us, it provides us foot soldiers to continue the union's work and to promote the union's work.
We're sort of a shock troops. When they need somebody to go out and demonstrate, they call on SOAR.
After 34 years with LTV Steel, I was forced to retire because of a disability. 2 years later, LTV filed bankruptcy. I lost a third of my pension, and my family lost their health care. Every day of my life, I sit at the kitchen table across from the woman who devoted 36 years of her life to my family, and I can't afford to pay for her health care. What's wrong with America, and what will you do to change it?
Steve, he became the voice of the whole healthcare issue at that rally in Chicago. And without SOAR, without a mechanism for our people being there, that wouldn't happen.
When steel was king, retiree issues seemed profoundly different.
Some of the men that were getting old and gonna retire, us younger guys envied them. I remember thinking that those guys were gonna have a great time. Nothing to do all day but just go fishing or do what you want. Hell, I thought that would be great.
Years of battling at the bargaining table came to fruition, and it finally looked like workers could enjoy retirement with dignity.
See, there were some people, I understand it, it was just a committee well, so what, let the retired get together once a year, or give them a party at the convention like that.
The Steelworkers Old Timers Foundation was created to enable our union to respond more effectively to the needs of its retirees, to respond to the people that have earned their retirement through years of hard work. We've succeeded in getting the job started. The foundation is built.
It wasn't long before that foundation started to crumble. The early 80s signaled a new era of the deindustrialization of America.
Your union has suffered a great many setbacks in the number of employed. Where do you take that union in times that we see?
Well, we're surely in difficult times. This is, except possibly for the organizing of the union in the beginning, this has been its most difficult period.
We lost 250,000 members in 4 months. That's more members than most unions in the AFL-CIO had. I had a number of images of this time. I used to think that I was like a guy, if you could imagine an old mattress out in the junkyard and the springs popping up, I was like a guy lying on the springs trying to hold them all down.
Two of those springs, pensions and health care. Once thought to be untouchable, they suddenly were under attack.
It was another round of bankruptcies, shutting down plants. And the first thing they did is they said, we're going to eliminate retiree health care.
When LTV took the unilateral position of taking away their health care, we knew what the future held.
And SOAR was actually founded around that first LTV battle.
Immediately we went into action.
We marshaled the troops, sent them to D.C., sent them to New York City to the bankruptcy courts, and organized that entire effort.
We fought for them at the collective bargaining table. We fought for them against our governments. We fought for them in bankruptcies to create vivas so that we would continue to represent as much as we could possibly do their economic interests. We fought in court to try and prevent the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation from stripping them of their benefits. I would like to believe we'd have done that whether or not there was a SOAR, but I know that because there was SOAR, that made it more imperative that we do those kind of things.
During this time, SOAR organized retirees and transformed them from social groups into a political powerhouse. This transformation was guided by a great leader, forged from the hot flames of crisis.
Well, I think Lynn played a great role.
Lynn Williams, though, was the leader that put the impetus behind the fight.
We sort of refocused the board that said, our marching order here is to improve the quality of life of retirees, and we can't do that if we're at picnic tables all the time. And what we really need to do is to get our retirees involved in our legislative agenda.
You can hear Lynn, when he talks, he downplays his role actually in establishing SOAR, but it's without a doubt. If it hadn't been for Lynn Williams, there wouldn't be a SOAR today.
I'm personally convinced, and I think a lot of other people in the union would be convinced, that without Lynn's vision, SOAR would not have happened. And then later, when Lynn retired, he helped grow SOAR. He helped to make it an even more effective organization because he served as president for more than 10 years of SOAR, as well as once being president of the Steelworkers Union. So of that 25-year period, Lynn's been involved for the full 25 years from idea to now.
Oh yes, more than fulfilled my expectations. But it shouldn't be viewed as my vision. I felt for a long time the union was much too tough with having retirees out of the union. You came to your retirement date and you were finished.
We didn't feel that we were an integral part of the Steelworkers until they put us in the Constitution. Well, George Becker, at one convention, it came through.
They're now seated as official delegates to our 30th Constitutional Convention. This is a first for the Union, a historic day.
SOAR ended up being a very viable political force, not only in this area, all over the United States. And I'm very proud of that. I think that's really the fruit of all that work that went on to organize it.
Everybody figured it was a cake, or it was not a cakewalk. It took some great leadership to come out front and push.
Lynn Williams was the person that gave us the courage and the backbone to do the things that had to be done.
I think it's been great, and it's done a wonderful job in these 25 years. Now I hope it can do better.
The fact that it exists, and you had great directors, one director after another, me, Roots, Bob Roots, now Jim Center, the fact that's the expectation that people step in and keep it going.
I believe that it will grow because there is a feeling that there's a necessity that retirees are going to need SOAR more now than ever.
You've got to stand up for your own rights. You've got to belong to an organization that believes in saving what you've negotiated, what you worked all your life for. And it all could be gone with a strike of a pen.
There's every reason to stay connected to the union and continue the struggle and find a place to play an active role, because I think it's incumbent upon our generation to take care of the generation that came before us and to prepare the next generation to replace us.
No, the union is somewhat like the Army. They say once a soldier, always a soldier. Once a union member, always a union member,
The Steelworkers Organization of Active Retirees. Celebrating 25 years of activism.